Hi, I am RAQUELIZA MEJIA from ShockWaves Group. Ecosystem interaction. Habitat is a place where an organism makes it a home. A habitat meets all the environmental conditions an organism need to survive. On the other hand, niche is the range of physical and biological conditions in which a species live and the way the species obtain what it needs to survive. Also, every species has its own range of tolerance or the ability to survive and reproduce under a certain set of environmental conditions. There are three types of community interaction: predation, competition, and symbiosis. In ecology, predation is a mechanism of population control, while competition is a type of competition wherein two different species of prey compete for survival from the same predator. And there are three types of symbiosis: mutualism, commensalism, parasitism. In mutualism, flowers get pollinated while bee gets nectar. In commensalism, whale is unaffected and barnacles find food. And last, in parasitism, the cat gets skin irritation. The tick feeds on cat blood. Food chain and food web. A food chain is a series of organisms that transfer food between the trophic levels of an ecosystem using only one species at each level. And food web more accurately show the network of food chains representing the feeding relationships among organisms in an ecosystem. Classification of animals according to their diet. First is carnivores. Carnivores are those animals that feed with meat. For example, cuttlefish, tiger, platypus, anteater, shark, lion, walrus, and penguin. Second is herbivores. This is the animals that eat those plants. For example, deer, parrot, koala, hippopotamus, giraffe, kangaroo, elephant. And last is omnivores, are animals that include both meat and plants on their human diet. For example, boar, monkey, kiwi, bear, turtle, and ostrich. And last, classification of living things. Living things are divided into 5 kingdoms: animal, plant, fungi, protists, and monera. Thank you!
A pleasant day, everyone. I'm LLOYD LAPUZ from BSEE 2D. And I'll carry on the discussion. Let's start. The taxa in hierarchical order of a human. There are 3 major levels of classification: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. The domain of a human is Eukarya, the kingdom, Animalia, the phylum, Chordata, the class, Mammalia, the order, Primate, the family, Hominidae, the genus, Homo, and the last species, Sapien. The 3 domains are Archaea, Bacteria, and Eukarya. Archaea, any of the group of single-cell prokaryotic organism but with biochemistry and RNA markers that are distinct from bacteria and Eukarya. Does Archaea have a nucleus or organelles? Archaea don't have a nucleus or organelles. That's why they do not have a DNA separated into a nucleus. Archaeobacterial have a cell wall but it's not made of peptidoglycan. Bacteria like Archaea are prokaryotic and can survive in extreme climates. Bacteria. are defined as organisms that are microscopic, unicellular, independently reproducing, and mostly free living. Bacteria exist in the human body, and it is though that bacteria cell exceed human cells. Bacteria are single-cell creatures that have a distinct microstructure. Human and other microcellular species are eukaryotes, which implies that our cell contain different nuclei that are separated by membrane. And also, bacteria have a cell wall called peptidoglycan. What is peptidoglycan? Peptidoglycan is a polymer made up of sugar and amino acid that form a fiber layer from outside most bacteria plasma membrane, producing the cell wall. Eukarya or eukaryotes encompass most of the world visible living things. Eukaryotes are microorganisms with a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotic organisms include all mammals, plant, fungi, and protists, as well as the majority of algae. Eukaryotes can be single-cell or multicellular in nature. Other membrane-bound organelles present in eukaryotic cell include mitochondria or Golgi apparatus, while photosynthetic bacteria can be found in plants and algae. The Sixth Kingdom. First, Animalia. The taxonomous kingdom Animalia includes all animals and including human. All animals are classified into two groups, vertebrates and invertebrates. What is vertebrates? Vertebrates are also creatures categorized under the vertebrata subphylum. They also have an internal skeletal system to which muscles are connected. Example of vertebrates: bird, reptile, agata, and chondrichthyes. And what is invertebrates? The remaining phyla of the kingdom of Animalia are invertebrate. Invertebrates lack of backbone and internal skeleton. The second is Plantae. Plants are most photosynthetic eukaryotes in the Plantae kingdom. And the third is Protists. Protists do not form a biological group or branch because they exclude some eukaryotes. However, they are similar around the world for convenient as do algae and invertebrates. The fourth is fungi. Fungi include mushroom, molds, rust, and other organisms. They are unable to produce their own food. They get their nutrients through absorption. And the fifth is eubacteria. Eubacteria are bacterial microorganisms that consist of single cell that lack of nucleus and has DNA in the form of single cellular chromosomes. And the sixth is Archaea. Archaea is a bacteria that they are prokaryotic and can survive in extreme climate. Archaea bacteria are a kind of primordial prokaryote that may exist in environment that are unsuitable for other living organisms. Under severe circumstances, they may be found in acidic, alkaline, and hot sulfur springs.
Good day everyone, I'm AMOLO from group ShockWaves. So, let me discuss the 9 major animals phylum. First, phylum Porifera. It's about 10,000 species. Phylum Porifera are multicellular animals with a jelly-like using those sandwiched between two thin layers of cells in a body full of holes and channels that allows water to move through them. So, what is the characteristics of Porifera? They are generally marine aquatic organisms with a few freshwater species. Second, their bodies are asymmetrical. Third, body shape can be cylindral, vase-like, rounded, or sac-like. Do you know Porifera have a unique characteristic, and that is the position of a feeding system among animals. Poriferans don't have a mouth. Instead, they have tiny horns in their outer walls through which water is drawn. Second, phylum Cylindra. It's about 11,000 species. Cylindra is a phylum of the kingdom Animalia that represents nearly 11,000 aquatic animal species that may be found in both water and marine habitats, with the latter being the more common. The example of these: sea anemones, box jelly, and moon jelly. Third, phylum Platyhelminthes. It's about 25,000 species, a group of soft-bodied, usually much-plaited invertebrates. They have free-living parasites. The body has a soft covering with or without cilia. The example of these are tapeworms and fresh water flatworms. Fourth, phylum Nematoda. It's about 80,000 species. Phylum Nematoda is a phylum of invertebrate animals. They are comprised of roundworms or nematodes. They are undefilable by their smooth and tough outer covering and narrow cylindral and segmented body. The example of this is roundworms. Fifth, phylum Annelida. It's about 17,000 species. It have long bodies that have segments divided internally by shadow rings. Body symmetry bilateral. The example of these are earthworm and leeches. 6. Phylum Mollusca. It's about 80 to 85,000 species. Archshell, octopus, and snail are the example of mollusca. It is the second largest phylum of invertebrate animals after the arthropoda. 7th, phylum Echinodermata. It's about 17,000 species. Starfish and sea cucumber are the example of Echinodermata. 8th, phylum Arthropoda. It's about 3,700,000 species. It is the largest phylum of invertebrate animals. They can be found in all types of habitats, land, water, and soil. They have jointed limbs. The body is segmented into the 3 regions: head, thorax, and abdomen. The example of these are scorpions, spiders, and insects. 9. Phylum Chordata. It's about 43,700 species. Fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals are the example of chordata. The phylum Chordata consists of animals with a flexible and surrounding their dorsal or back sides. Once again, I'm RAMELLE AMOLO from BSCE 2D.
Okay, dito naman tayo sa may classes under phylum Chordata. Class Mammalia. Class Mammalia is the mammals. Key characteristics of mammals are the presence of fur or hair and mammary glands derived from modified sweat glands which produce milk for the young. Mammals are warm-blooded. Isa muna, ano ang warm-blooded? Ang warm-blooded ay isang informal na termino na tumutukoy sa mga species ng hayop na maaari mapanatili ang temperatura ng katawan na mas mataas kaysa sa kanilang kapaligiran. Itong class Mammalia is kaya nitong mag-produce ng milk sa kanyang katawan at meron siyang mammary gland. Class Astites is the bony fish. This is the most numerous of all vertebrate classes. They are cold-blooded. Their swim-bladder is an air sac used to control buoyancy. Thus, unlike the sharks, bony fish can hold still at any depth and not sink. Most fish we eat are in this class, which is salmon, cod, tuna, etc. Ano ang cold-blooded? At ang cold-blooded naman ay maaaring tukuyin bilang mga hayop na hindi kayang kontrolin ang kanilang temperatura ng kanilang pangloob na katawan sa pagbabago ng kapaligiran. Halimbawa nito, ang mga reptalia, insekto, isda, amphibian, at iba pa. Etong bony fish is ayun nga ang mga salmon, tuna. Dito naman tayo sa class Reptilia. Cryptophalia, snakes, turtles, crocodile, and reptiles have scales and are dry to top. Their eggs have leathery shells. Reptiles are cold-blooded. Reptiles needed less food, energy to live and live longer than a comparable size mammal. Ayun, nakita naman natin kanina sinabi ko ito'y halimbawa ng class Reptilia is snakes, turtles. Yan, meron silang scales and dry to touch, mga magaspang na skin. At ito di ay cold-blooded na sinabi ko kanina. Ito ang mga typical examples. Rodentia, beavers, mice, rats. Ang key characteristic niya ay small plant eaters, chisel-like incisor teeth. Ito namang Chiroptera ay mga paniki, bats. Ito ay flying mammals. Insectivora, ito ay mga moles, shrews. Ang key characteristics naman niya ay small burrowing mammals, insect eaters. Most primitive placental mammals spend most of their time underground. Ito namang marsupialia, kangaroos, koalas. Ito ang characteristic niya ay pouch mammals. Ang carnivora, which is birds, cats, raccoons, weasels, dogs, at ang characteristic naman niya ay carnivorous predators. At ang primates, apes, humans, lemurs, monkeys, at ang characteristic niya ay tree dwellers, large brain size, binocular vision, opposable thumb, yan. At dito nakalagay ang human kasi ito ang characteristic ng human nandito. Artiodactyla, ayan, cattle, deer, giraffe, pigs. Ang characteristic niya, hook mammals with 2 or 4 toes, mostly herbivores. Dito naman tayo sa may cetacea, ayan, dolphins, porpoise, whales, fully marine mammals, ang characteristics niya. Lagomorpha, which is rabbits, hare, ficus, and ang characteristics na rodent-like jumpers. Sa suborder Pinnipedea, ayan, sea lion, seals, walruses, ayan, marine carnivores, edentata, anteaters, armadillos, sloths, ayan, toothless insect eaters, wala silang ngipin. Kasi Perissodactyla, ayan, horses, rhinoceroses, zebras, ayan, hook mammals with 1 or 3 toes. Proboscidea, ayan, elephant. Dito naman tayo sa egg-laying mammals. Isang example ng egg-laying mammals is platypus. Isang egg-laying mammals belongs to the order. Itong platypus is meron siyang mammary gland at meron din siyang egg ang nilalabas niya. Tapos meron pa, pag nanganak na siya ay pwede na siya magpasuso. Ayan, isang example ng egg-laying mammals. And dito naman tayo sa may taxonomy of living things. And domain, eukarya, kung ano ang human sa part. Domain, eukarya, kingdom, animalia, phylum, chordata, class, mammalia, order, primates, family, hominidae, genus, homo, species, sapiens. And thank you and God bless.